You've already seen videos that talk about the scientific effect of scrolling. Like, you already know scrolling is bad for your attention span. You already know scrolling is bad for your mental health, right? You already know all that stuff. But not enough people talk about what scrolling does to your soul. And that's what I'm going to cover in this video. Because in order to solve a problem in the first place, like the problem is scrolling, you need to understand it in the first place. And too many people focus on the observable effects of scrolling. Like, obviously, you're going to waste hours of your day, right? You already know this. But the deeper level here is that you feel like a loser. Like, I remember vividly, there was multiple months, or if not even years of my life, where I would just be sitting there. I would feel depressed. Like, I was just like, God damn. I would get to the end of a long day of scrolling. So, like, picture me, right? Wake up at, like, let's say 9 a.m., instantly get on my phone. First thing I do, not even getting out of bed, not even like brushing my teeth, not even eating breakfast, getting on my phone. And I would stay on my phone. And I would continue to stay on my phone until 11 p.m., 12 p.m. So I was basically scrolling for more than 12 hours a day, every single day. And I remember I would get to the end of those long scrolling days, which, by the way, wasn't even uncommon. It's not like this one bad day, remember. This was every single day to me. Like, I'm being so honest with you. I would get to the end of those long days of scrolling, finally get enough like willpower to just turn off my phone, and I felt like a fucking loser. I felt so ashamed of myself for the fact that I couldn't turn off an electronic box for 14 hours straight. I couldn't click one button. And the thing is, that kind of stuff sits with you. Like, that's the kind of shame, that's the kind of feeling that builds up, and it ruins your mental health, like, genuinely. Like, it hurts your self-image, it hurts everything. And, this is true for all addictions, but especially scrolling, because scrolling, like, usually it's not just like you're scrolling, right? It's always paired with some other kind of bad habits, right? You're wasting all day, but then you're also wanting to eat junk food because you're not trying to actually stop scrolling and start cooking something. So you just find a snack to eat. And then since you're scrolling and you're still really locked into it, you're not going to go to bed on time either, And that kind of stuff just sits with you. The fact that you wasted all day just scrolling sits with you. Like, that's the kind of person you become. Like, that is genuinely the worst feeling I've ever felt in my life. The shame that you feel at the end of a long day like that. And I can guarantee you that you felt it to some kind of degree. Maybe not as bad as me. Like, I was a complete degenerate, mind you. But even if you're scrolling for like just 6 hours, like on a moderate range, you still feel like a loser, right? That shame you feel still sits with you. And I remember hearing one time that shame is the worst emotion that a human can feel. Because think back to like olden times. If you felt shame, that means you did something horrible, right? And in that time, you had to rely on the people around you, your community, your tribe, to survive. So if you felt shame, like, you could die. So no wonder, like, even now, when we feel shame, that is the worst emotion you could feel. But that's the short term, right? Like, you feel that shame every single day, and obviously it's not going to be good for you. But I've literally heard zero people talking about this. Is genuinely the only video on YouTube that talks about the long-term moral effects of scrolling. And it's that every time you get to that end of the long day, right? Obviously you feel the shame, right? And it sucks. But you make a promise to yourself. You say that tomorrow I'm going to do better. And guess what happens when tomorrow rolls around, right? You just go back to that same thing over and over again. And so you're basically telling yourself, like, your brain is telling yourself that when I set a promise to myself, I don't follow it. And that's awful, because what that means is that you're breaking your own self-trust. If you can't trust yourself, what do you even have going for you, you know? Like, you're not even living if you can't trust yourself in your own judgment, in doing and following through what you said you would do. Like, that long-term loss of integrity that comes with any addiction, mind you. This applies to any addiction, but especially to scrolling, like in our generation, right? I'm late Gen Z. That is our addiction. Like, this is the world's addiction. The average screen time in the world, regardless of age or where you live, is 7 hours. 7 hours. Like, some random, like, including age. So, like, this includes like 85-year-old people who've never seen a phone in their life. Average screen time is 7 hours. And, you know, not everybody thinks this is a problem, but especially for people like you and me who actually want to do something. Because, you know, it's one thing if you're just scrolling just to, like, pass the time, whatever, you don't care. I actually want to do stuff with my life. You know, I actually wanted to go out there and achieve. Like, we're young guys. We want to actually go out there and do something. But this addiction is what's holding you back. Not only is it holding you back, but it's sinking you in. It's like an anchor is attached to your foot and you're trying to swim, but you just can't. The only way you can swim and get above water is if you cut off the rope that's attaching you to the anchor. And that's what my goal is. My goal is to help you fully understand the scrolling addiction so that you can actually get out of it. Because as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the only way to solve a problem is to understand it. And so anytime that you think about opening up your phone or even just scrolling there for a long while, I want you to think about one specific thing. Like, this tactic genuinely helps me a lot more than you would even realize. Think about how you're going to feel at the end of the day. This applies for both good habits and bad habits. So let's say you want to go work out. Well, you're going to think about it at the end of the day before you go to bed, and you're going to be happy. Like, you're going to be proud of yourself for putting in that work. But same thing applies to scrolling. You know, if you wake up and the first thing you consider is just getting on your phone or checking Instagram real quick, think about how you're going to feel at the end of the day where you get to it and you feel that shame again. And you lose a bit more of your self-trust again. Just that tactic, just thinking about the feeling you're going to have at the end of the day. Ignoring what you're feeling now, mind you. It doesn't matter if you feel tired or you feel unmotivated. It doesn't matter what you feel in the moment. All that matters is what you're going to feel at the end of the day. And that single mindset can help you tremendously. I know it has for me. And so please use it. By all means, just think about what you're going to feel at the end of the day. And, you know, just understanding your problem is a huge help in and of itself. But if you want to get to the point where you're not scrolling at all, it's not even a thing on your mind, then I got you. Because I can personally help you get out of this addiction as quickly as possible. Because, truth be told, I spent years in this pitfall, like doing mistake after mistake. And especially with the experience that I have now, I wish that I could have had the same experience when I was like you. And so my offer to you is that if you do want my experience, you want to get there as fast as possible, then I'm running a 3-week scrolling detox program where I'm either going to cut your screen time in half or reduce it by 4 hours, whichever one's bigger. So if you want to go ahead and see if you're a right fit for the program, then you can go ahead and book a call with me by clicking the link in the description.